Hello guys, it's a very rainy day today. The river is coming up. It actually goes up and down quite a bit. You can see by these lines on the shore. I'm at a different place now because the place where I go, you have to cross some pretty deep water to get to it. What you're seeing here is not sand, but it's actually residue from the forest fires that we had a few years ago. Every time the river floods, it still brings down lots of that ash and carbon, and I'm going to show you guys in a video at some point about sand that the sand also separates out like this to an extent. It's not quite as drastic as we're seeing here. But anyway, the purpose of today's video is to try our luck on this much higher gravel bar. It's a lot of smaller stuff, but I remember down at the far end there's some bigger material. We're right next to the bridge here, so this is pretty picked over as far as rocks go, but most people, I'm trusting, don't look for what I'm looking for. So stick with me and let's see what we can find. The beautiful Cache la Poudre River. Well, depending on how today goes for rocks, this might be the beginning of my sand video that I've been wanting to do. So the major flood we had, although it was 12 years ago, it really hasn't been up since that time to this height. So these bushes at the time, it makes sense that they would have trapped or slowed down the current enough to gather the heavier sand. I don't know if you can see the difference in color in the sand that's close to the bushes. It feels very fine and very heavy compared to what would naturally settle out here a little ways past the bushes, which is a much lighter color. So this is interesting. Even though I'm sure it's been walked on and mixed, there still seems to be a concentration of the heavy materials, such as this right here is much darker than that. And it's not soil, it's actually sand. And the heavier minerals tend to be really dark and fine as compared to the lighter minerals that the same current would carry bigger pieces, if that makes sense. So just an interesting observation. I want to come prepared and dig some of that up right there. It looks really dark, and it's a different dark than the organic, so I'm hoping it has a lot of garnet and magnetite. Probably more magnetite would be my guess. Anyway, I'm gonna keep trying to find some rocks, but interesting sand observations. Here you can see again some of the dark mixed in with the light. Well, we have a couple of little finds here. First is this. Everything might be on a smaller scale today. The pieces are kind of smaller at this location, but they're out of the water, and that's kind of what we need. Here's a beautiful epidote. And then back here, oh, there's another bright green. That surprises me because a lot of times if people are looking for rocks, these are the first to go. Yeah, really no cracks either. I'll take those two. And look at this. Nice growth lines in it. This is a piece of similar quartz from the river here that I cut and polished in order to highlight these growth fractures. The best explanation I have heard is that as these crystals are growing in a cooling pegmatite, they repeatedly fracture, and these fractures are immediately infilled by the surrounding fluids, and the white appearance is caused by the microscopic inclusions of these fluids that become part of the crystal as the fractures re-solidify. If we could somehow insert a microphone into a cooling pegmatite 10 or 15 miles below the surface, would it sound anything like wood crackling in a fire? It's actually almost clear, although when a rock is small, it's much easier for light to go through. Yeah, I don't see any cracks. Let's go wash the 3 of these off. Nice little pile on a rainy day. Oh, I see some other good ones. There's a big piece of quartz. We'll have to take a look at him. Very nice. This one's kind of dark, but I do like the veining in it. We'll put it in the think about it pile. Most likely I'll leave it. Oh, now I lost the other. Oh, there it is. Yeah. That's almost a gem grade piece, if somebody really likes green. Oh wow, look how the light goes into that. That's huge. As usual, I did not come prepared to dig. But since this is quartz, it might be worth digging out. I see about 3 other cool rocks in the process of digging this out. Uh-oh. This could be a good one. Nah, I don't think so. Light goes through it pretty good, but it's got quite a few cracks in it. This is one of those where if I really needed more quartz, I'd probably take it because it would go good around my plants. But we'll see. How's that? Whenever you make a hole, guys, you want to fill it in just so nobody trips and it still looks natural. We're not here to violate nature in any way. Sometimes you gotta look under the bushes, guys. Look at this. That's actually several shades of green veins through one rock. The appearance of the different greens is somewhat common in our local geology and to my knowledge derives from multiple fracturing and infilling events over time, with varying degrees of perhaps temperature and pressure along with minor changes in the exact content of the epidote and other minerals forming the veins. This leads to a very unique and colorful result in the rocks. That's kind of cool. I wouldn't mind finding his bigger brother. Oh yeah, that's a nice piece. Couple little cracks in it, but they can hide. 2 sides are good. Nice. And I saw something else here. Where'd it go? There it is. Nope, totally shattered. Just a cool piece of granite, but it is cracked. And remember, because right next to this one was this one. It's another one with the almost black veins. As I tell you guys quite often, there are a lot of rocks with veins coming out of the Cache la Poudre Canyon. I think it is the metamorphism capital of the world. And we found another few interesting little guys. This is, we used to call this lithium quartz. It has these red veins going through it. Very transparent. And here you can see the growth lines of the quartz crystal highlighted by the red behind it. I know some of you guys who do cabochons, when you're working with transparent materials, you'll put a black background and then glue the transparent material, like the agate or the quartz, onto it to highlight those internal structures. Well, here's a natural version of that. You can see the red vein and the clear quartz with the growth striations backlit against the dark background of the red. Very cool. And I got to remember where all these are. This is just a pink granite, but it's pretty coarse grained, very smooth. And I'm wondering what that dark mineral might be. I'm tempted to take it home just because of its specimen quality. Yeah, it has no cracks at all. It's just a nice sample of that kind of granite. There's a lot of pink granite around here, but this is a different variety. It has a different crystal structure. And I saw, again, under the bush. You guys gotta look under the bushes. It's kind of pale. Well, maybe not. Oh, that's definitely green. Keeper or not? I think it would be pretty pale when it dries. It's definitely green, but almost a lime green. And it's got quite a few cracks in it. So I'm going to leave this for somebody else. I do want to take these though. Check out this little gemstone, guys. So we were talking about in the last episode about graphic granite and feldspar. This almost looks like petrified wood. It's a stellar piece. I honestly don't think I have anything quite like it. But I know this is a nice cleavage face here. If we were looking in the sun, this would glare at you like crazy. But look at the color in this crystal. That is a unique feldspar crystal. Wow. Just this piece made it worth the trip today. Those of you who know about plagioclase, microcline, I imagine this is microcline, you might fill me in. What would cause this? I would love to find the pegmatite that this is coming out of. Very cool. I'm coming up with the theory that I should look in the bushes. Because again, a small amount less of people maybe have looked in the bushes. But how's that for a dark, rich green? Pattern's not too stellar, but I think I'll leave it. It's got the nice green veins though. Yeah, now that I'm looking at it. Go take a look. All right, it's got some unique structure. I'll think about it. That's what the think about it pile is for. I am getting soaked, but this is so fun. All right, I usually don't go around picking up concrete. I do like a few pieces if I find them well rounded. And with one flat side like this is nice because it'll sit nice on the sculptures, you know. So this piece is rounded, and these to me represent how even in our short existence as humans, we are already being dragged into the geologic processes and the fossil record. So that's why I like these. Someday I'll do a video about them. I have a lot of different concretes from San Diego, from here, from Montana, and it's just interesting to see. I call them human trace fossils. You can see I shrunk the pile down. I decided to leave the big quartz and a few others, and I still can't get over this one. Nice piece. Anyway, let's look for a little while longer. That's still a very light load. You can see it's all smaller stuff here. We're not going to find any giants today, but that's okay. This is a gravel bar that also formed during that flood of 2013. This is just a pretty combination with the large pink, almost a rose pink feldspar and the white quartz. It's just an attractive piece of very coarse grained granite, maybe pegmatite, but a nice color combination. And here, side by side, we have two beauties. Here is a completely unfractured quartz, got some dirt on it. I guess it's got a little bit of a ding on the backside. This one I think I'll keep. This is a beautiful yellow feldspar. I've seen this in the bedrock up in the canyon, and I almost can never find big pieces of it, but that's a nice little chunk of that granite pegmatite. I might have walked right on the bedrock that this eroded out of. Interesting. This is an interesting piece. I'll have to study it more closely at home. It's hard for me to tell if it is a crystalline rock, i.e. a gneiss or a schist perhaps, or it could be a banded rhyolite. It's hard to tell when it's wet. The way to tell a crystalline rock, of course, is when it dries, you'll see sparkles in the sun, although it be tiny, whereas in a rhyolite you likely wouldn't. And I have seen rhyolites this color, but this looks pretty crystalline, so I'm excited that it might be garnet. Cool. All right, guys, I'm back at the pile. Maybe it's a porphyry, or it could be a conglomerate. It's definitely hard, and the pattern isn't very vivid, but it's just such a pretty color. And here's another one of those common rocks from the Poudre River with all the veins through them. You can see that one vein going left to right has some structure to it, like it grew in from the sides and has a darker strip down the middle. Nice little piece. It kind of got bright out here all of a sudden. The clouds have been really heavy, so I figured I'd better get a few pictures while the light's good. Nice brown veins in this one. Kind of a brownish red. In this material, the veins can be all the way from black to bright orange. Yeah, that's a nice solid piece too. And this looks like just a unique pattern in some kind of a granite. Anyway, I think I'm going to call it a day, guys. We've got a beautiful selection. Definitely not a heavy load today, which is kind of nice for a change. Got some concrete, real exotic. Nice epidote veins, quartz veins, probably hematite veins. Some nice bright epidote. Yeah, that's a spectacular piece, actually. The bottom doesn't seem to have too much color, but I think that's just rust. This has been out in the sun here and it's been cleaned off. Anyway, thanks for joining me today. Again, please like, share, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. And we will see you on the next one. So this is episode 6 already. Wow, we're having fun.